Hello, everybody, and welcome to another CLNS Patriots Roundtable Super Bowl week. We have already hit Thursday. We are over the hump, getting that much closer to Patriots and Eagles. My name's Alex Barth. I am joined by Marv Ezhan and Mike Molyneaux. Guys, thanks for coming on. We got the post-game crew on today.
The whole crew is here, man. It's a good week. You know, this is the second day in a row with you, Alex. So I'm just excited. Another day closer to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I've been busy all week. Did some stuff with Trags yesterday. Jimmy Toscano kept busy, and that's everything CLNS Media has been doing this week leading up to the big game on Sunday. So we're pushing a lot of stuff out there to keep all the fans interested and well-informed on what's going on for sure.
Of course, you can check that all out on our Twitter account at PatriotCLNS and on our brand new website, clnsmedia.com. We got 3 roundtables in the books already, and we've got like Mike just talked about, him, Trags, and Jimmy Toscano. I don't know what show that technically was, but it was very informative, and I highly recommend everybody watch it. Again, the link's on our Twitter at PatriotCLNS. Let's create some new content now, boys, shall we? And let's start with Roger Goodell today. He gave his State of the League address, talked to the media, took his very tough questions that he always takes. The Panini kids went very hard on him. But one of the main topics was the NFL catch rule, and we saw that time in and time out this year. Survive the ground, what qualifies getting your feet in. It was questioned time and time again. Roger Goodell came out today, and he said that they are going to not change the rule, but shore it up more, maybe put in some more language that makes it easier to understand. But the one thing they want to focus on is survive the ground. And I'll start here. I actually like the catch rule the way it is. And I understand that sometimes maybe it takes away plays from a game. Obviously, the Jesse James play comes to mind, but there's no room for interpretation. You know exactly what is and what isn't a catch, as bad as the rule is, and I would rather have it be set in stone than leave the interpretation up to the officials, and then you get a lack of consistency, and it's going to change from game to game based on the crews. How do you guys feel about this?
Alex, I think you're one of the few that actually knows what a catch is. I'm watching these games, man, and I have no idea what a catch is. I'm actually in the opposite of you, Alex. I think they should get rid of the survive the ground rule. I honestly don't think, or the way it's worded, how you have to survive the ground and then it becomes a fumble and you still have possession, I think that needs to be gone with. Totally, and just work on what it means to have a catch. Catch the ball, and if you go down and you can recover your own fumble, then it should be a catch, in my opinion. I don't like to survive the rule at all, survive the ground at all.
I'm with Alex. I feel like the way it's set up right now, in all honesty, it's tough for some fans who have seen the rule take effect and their team be on the losing end of things. I mean, if you're a Patriots fan, you've seen a couple games now where, the Patriots have come out on the winning end and teams suffer because of this rule. But I think what Marv just said, it's just a little too tricky in terms of if you have the ball and you fumble and you're able to recover your own fumble, consider that a catch. That's just a little too tricky in my opinion. I mean, the way it's set up now, if you can go down with the ball and you have it secured in your hands and it's visible to the referees, it's visible to, to the fans at home, whatever the case may be, I think that determines it right there on the spot. And as tough as the plays have looked, especially last season in the NFL, I think it's fair. You look back at that Jesse James catch and he caught it. He went down, the ball's out of his hand. He caught it, but as soon as you hit the ground and make contact, if it drops out of your hand, you can't really follow through with a catch like that. That's just in my opinion. I don't feel that should fit.
A catch is when you catch the ball, and if you catch the ball and have 2 feet on the ground or you have your knees, that should be a catch right there. I think we all agree.
So what if you catch the ball and then a defensive player hits you and it comes loose and you drop it? How long do you have to possess the ball before it maybe becomes a fumble instead of an incomplete pass?
Standing up. You're talking about that is standing upright and he hits you.
So you think the ground is different than a player?
Yes.
See, I'm kind I'm in the mindset that outside factors are outside factors, and that you should just, regardless of what's going on elsewhere, there's the process of catching the ball has to go through. Otherwise, you go to what I've heard referred to as the great grandmother rule, where, you know, you have the game on, your 100-year-old great grandmother who's never watched football walks through the room, sees the replay on the TV, and just says, that's a catch or that's not a catch based on the eye test. And I don't want to see the NFL go there, because all these officials do things so differently.
Yeah.
I want them to have a strict set of guidelines they need to follow, because we've seen it with the offsides rule in hockey. We've seen it with the neighborhood play in baseball on double plays. When you let the officials make judgments, we see it with pass interference and catchable and uncatchable balls. When you let the officials make judgments, that's when you really have no clue what's going on. As bad as the rule is now, at least we know. And the players who say, oh, well, I thought there was a catch, they know. I think they know. And they're just trying to cover for themselves. So I think it's never going to be perfect. It's not great right now, but it's as good as you can get it.
I agree with you. I mean, there's two sides of everything in terms of what, you know, Marv is bringing up and then what you're bringing up. But I think at the end of the day, if the league comes out and sets in stone in writing that this is the official rule and this is what we're standing by, whether you want to believe, you know, a catch is made or it isn't made, whatever the rules are in place by the league is what goes. So like you just said, the referees having to come out and make judgment calls right on the spot, you know, it puts a lot of people in a tough position, especially the referees. But again, if you have words set in stone, this is what the league considers a catch, then as much as you want to argue and gripe and say, well, this cost us the game and that play cost us the game, at the end of the day, referees, officials can just go back. This is what the rule is, and this is what we're standing by. So you can't get on my case. Instead of, you know, last couple seasons was, oh, the referees really screwed up. Now these referees, you know what? I always feel like referees and officials in every sport, I always wish I could find out what their life is like outside of the game, because I feel like, oh man, these guys must go into hidings and whatnot, because they'd have to deal with a lot of stuff coming out of games and tough calls being made. But again, in any sport, if it's the official rule, it's the official rule, and that's what you have to go by.
I mean, there's official rules now. I think what needs to happen, even Goodell's coming out and saying it, it needs to be simplified. We need, like you said, have concrete rules, but have it simplified for the 100-year-old grandma to see it and be like, okay, I get what the referee was saying there. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're right now where there's a runner who can just put the football past the pylon and then bring it back and it's a touchdown. But then you get the Calvin Johnson rule where you see it's a catch and it's not a touchdown. So there's too much gray area over there. I think that needs to be fixed.
Well, don't even get me started on the fumbling out of the end zone rule, because that one I think needs to change. I hate that one, but more on that another time. I want to thank our sponsors of today's roundtable, DraftKings.com. Go to DraftKings.com and use the promo code CLNS for free match play. It's also sponsored by Simple Contacts, where you'll be blown away by the quality and ease of use. Go to SimpleContacts.com/Trags. That's TRAGS. Use the promo code TRAGS for $30 off your first order of contact lenses. This segment is also brought to you by RX Bar. RX Bar is a whole food protein bar. What does that mean? Our bars are made with 100% whole ingredients. Support our programming by going to rxbar.com/CLNS and use the promo code CLNS, where listeners will receive 25% off their first purchase. We continue on the CLNS Patriots Roundtable with Marv Ezhan and Mike Molyneaux. I'm Alex Barth, getting you ready for Patriots Eagles. And it's deja vu a little bit, guys, right? Well, not us, because I'm new to CLNS. You guys were sitting right here this time last year. I was sitting elsewhere this time last year, getting people ready for Patriots Falcons. And we're in a rare spot as Patriots observers that we get to do this. They're in the Super Bowl so often. Let's take a look at, it's not the same team, but a similar team to last year for the Patriots, how they match up with the Eagles versus what we were talking about last year and how they matched up with the Falcons. So start off pretty simple here, guys. Which team, not necessarily in matchups, but regardless of the Patriots' pure overall talent, which is the better team, last year's Falcons team or this year's Eagles team?
Absolutely, Falcons, without a doubt. I think the Atlanta Falcons struck fear into a lot of the Patriots' eyes just because of how high-powered their offense was. And then you have, last year's NFL MVP in Matt Ryan, who was leading that team. You know what Julio Jones brought to the table. The dual running backs of Tevin Coleman and Devontae Freeman on the field. These guys, the just talent all around from the Atlanta Falcons, I think struck fear into a lot of Patriots fans' eyes and hearts. And obviously, the Patriots defense over the last couple of years has been one that's just shaky, bend not break. It hasn't been real shut down and real dependable. I don't think since the year the Patriots won the Super Bowl against the Seattle Seahawks. That year when they had Revis and a healthy Hightower and all those guys, the defense was actually solid. And then the years following that, it's just been teams kind of led by the offense once again. But then you look at this year's Eagles team. Yeah, they've been great, but they don't have their what's probably going to look like now the runner-up MVP to Tom Brady. He's out, for the rest of the season, not going to be participating in the Super Bowl. But their weapons, is Alshon Jeffrey in the same, cloud as Julio Jones? I don't think so. Is LeGarrette Blount and Jay Ajayi in the same conversation as Devontae Freeman and Tevin Coleman? I don't think so as well. So I think, talent-wise, especially offensively, the Falcons were a way more powerful team than this year's Philadelphia Eagles, in my opinion.
I have to agree with Mike 100%. You nailed it right on the head, especially when you're speaking on the offense. And Falcons were the most feared team, especially, like you mentioned, Matt Ryan coming in MVP season. What makes this Eagles team a little different, though, is they're coming in with a better defense than the Atlanta Falcons defense. You knew going in, Atlanta Falcons defense was young. They let up a lot of points, especially early in the season, and Brady was going to be able to exploit them. This Eagles defense, with the front four they have, and they have some good corners as well, they're going to cause a little more trouble to Brady coming in. But like you said, overall, Atlanta's team in 2017 is a lot better than this 2018 Eagles.
Marv, you took the words right out of my mouth, and I certainly think the Falcons were a better football team, but when it comes to matchups, I think the Eagles provide a tougher test. They have a better pass rush. They're more diverse offensively. They're not necessarily better, but they can do more offensively. They have the ability to go to the run-pass option. They're a better play-action team, which the Falcons have struggled with. And, I think ultimately it comes back to that defense and the fact that we knew last year going in, as good as the Falcons' offense was, if the game turned into a shootout, which it ultimately did, you take Tom Brady over anything. This game won't necessarily become a shootout. The Eagles aren't going to shut the Patriots out, but they have the ability to limit them. And that's going to stress the Patriots on the other side of the ball. And last year, the Patriots didn't handle that stress that well. They did late in the game, but certainly not early. There are, though, similarities between the two. And I think it was Mike. Mike, you brought up LeGarrette Blount and Jay Ajayi, I think it was. And that's something I look at where I think the Patriots will have an advantage and they can use some of what they used last year against Atlanta. We all know Atlanta, Freeman and Coleman, they have two great running backs, right? Two guys that would probably start on most teams in the league. And the Patriots had a different game plan for each one, and they had different things they wanted to do when each one was on the field. We saw it in the Super Bowl sound effects video last year when Tevin Coleman came in late in the game. They knew he struggled in pass pro. They brought Donta Hightower wider off the edge than usual. It forced the Matt Ryan fumble. The rest is history. The Eagles are a different team when it's Jay Ajayi or it's Corey Clements or LeGarrette Blount, whoever it is. They change their offense based on the running back. And I think Bill Belichick and his staff are going to benefit from having game planned against a similar offense last season in that they changed based on the running back. So, guys, if there's one thing from last year's Super Bowl that you think will carry over and help the Patriots or carry over and hurt the Patriots this year, what would it be?
And I'm going to go back to what you're saying with the running backs. We mentioned Devontae Freeman, we mentioned Tevin Coleman. Those are dual threat running backs that can go outside the numbers and catch, run, the run pass offense that we've been hearing all week that the Eagles love to run. With Jay Ajayi, that's a dual threat. You got another running back that doesn't get a lot of shine, but Clement, he's another really good running back for the Eagles that the Patriots saw hurt them a little bit against Jacksonville Jaguars almost 2 weeks ago with what's his name?
Corey Grant.
Corey Grant, right? Very
Corey,
similar players.
Very
to
similar
Grant
type players. So, James Harrison struggled a little bit with that, but hopefully they know how to game plan, have Kyle Van Noy maybe shadowing a little bit on that. And they were able to stop Derrick Henry. They were able to stop Fournette in the second half. LeGarrette Blount is not going to do a damn thing in the Super Bowl game. Do you guys hear me? Not a damn thing. Jay Ajayi is a little more versatile, but the Patriots will be able to stop. I don't see the Patriots struggling against the run.
In all honesty, if you look at all the Super Bowls that the Patriots have played in, I can make an argument that Nick Foles might be the worst quarterback that the Patriots will have faced in the Super Bowl up until this point.
He's got to be Foles or Delhomme, right?
Yeah,
not
Delhomme might.
I'll take a Delhomme over Foles, and then other than that, Russell Wilson. Obviously, you go back all the way to the Rams in 2001. Kurt Warner, obviously. Eli Manning. Eli Manning now sucks. Like
playoff.
He's terrible.
That was playoff Manning, though.
No, I'll absolutely take Manning then over Foles. I think that's it.
Okay, so I think we can all agree that Nick Foles is probably the worst quarterback the Patriots will have faced in the Super Bowl up until this point. So one thing that last year it took them until the second half against the Falcons to really get into, but putting pressure on Matt Ryan is something that the Patriots didn't do much in the first half of the game. It wasn't until late in the game where maybe the offensive line of the Falcons started to wear down and fatigue really started to set in. But you saw those plays where Matt Ryan started to take some hits. Talented Dante Hightower was able to get in there and have that huge sack and fumble that took place that really shifted things in the game. The Patriots hopefully and will do that in this upcoming Super Bowl. Obviously, you don't have the same talent in Dante Hightower on the field, but other guys that I know you guys mentioned when you did your show yesterday, like Van Noy and a couple of those other guys up front, hopefully in a couple different, blitz packages, you put pressure on the guy that the three of us just sitting here consider the worst quarterback that the Patriots will face in the Super Bowl. You put pressure on him, I guarantee, it could possibly be a lopsided victory, if the Patriots are able to do that against Nick Foles, but it remains to be seen.
Another thing, Mike, that you kind of touched upon, even though this is the Patriots' second year going back into the Super Bowl in a row, this is a completely different team than last year's, especially offensively. Brady got some new toys. You have Brandon Cooks on the team now. You had Gronk, who didn't play in the Super Bowl last year. You have Dion Lewis, who wasn't a big factor on the team in the Super Bowl last year, coming off of injury, and he's
also don't. Sorry, I was going to mention. You also don't have Edelman.
You don't have Edelman, but you add in a Burkhead as well into this game, so you have the three-headed running back monster, hopefully healthy going in. It's a totally different dynamic going into this Super Bowl compared to last year's.
And, of course, we'll be covering it all. We'll talk about the offense a little bit tomorrow on our roundtable at Patriots CLNS on Twitter to make sure you find that. This roundtable is brought to you by DraftKings. Go to DraftKings.com and use the promo code CLNS for free match play. It's also brought to you by Simple Contacts, where you will be blown away by the quality and ease of use. Go to simplecontacts.com/Trags and use the promo code TRAGS, that's TRAGS, for $30 off your first order of contact lenses. This roundtable is also brought to you by RX Bar, a whole food protein bar. What does that mean? Well, their bars are made with 100% whole ingredients. Support our programming by going to rxbar.com/CLNS and use the promo code CLNS, where listeners will receive 25% off their first purchase. One more thing we have to touch on here on the Patriots Roundtable. Alex Barth, Marv Ezhan, Mike Molyneaux with you. You woke up Wednesday morning, you saw a surprising headline on the Philadelphia Inquirer, that is the main paper in Philadelphia. I'm not even going to dress it up. It read as such. Maybe it's no coincidence that Aaron Hernandez tragedy happened to Patriots. Wins more important than lives in New England, ? And look, I know it's Super Bowl week and we get into other stories, but come on. Be better, Philly. And look, what happened, I just want to say this off top. what Aaron Hernandez did was wrong. And the real tragedy is not in Hernandez's life, and I understand he had his issues, but the real tragedy is not in his life. It is the 3 people whose lives were lost because of his poor decisions. That being said, it was, 4 years ago? He's no longer on the team. The Patriots instantly cut ties with him. What the hell does his life circumstance have to do with the 2018 New England Patriots? I just think this was irresponsible, sensationalist journalism. Second case of it this week after what Alex Reamer did over the last weekend. Go ahead. Sorry.
That journalist, the writer, whoever came up with that story, the headline, whatever the case may be, I'm so disappointed. Like you just said, this is the 2018 New England Patriots. That happened so many years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. And, the Patriots have moved on. A lot of people have moved on, not just, it's a lot of sadness and tragedy that took place in the whole Aaron Hernandez situation. But the fact that it's still being brought up right now and somehow in some way, random way, has connection to what's taking place this Sunday in the Super Bowl between the 2018 Philadelphia Eagles and the 2018 New England Patriots. I know people like to fish for a story, but my goodness, what could drive you to fish for a story involving the whole Aaron Hernandez situation that causes so much tragedy and hurt and pain for some people? One, and then two, has nothing to do with what's taking place this season. I'm lost. I'm at a loss for words.
It's so disrespectful. It's actually mind-boggling. When Alex, you told me this earlier, I honestly didn't even know what you were talking about. Like, I couldn't really believe that someone would even think about writing that. And you saying this is a big newspaper in Philadelphia?
I mean, it's like their version of the Globe. Yeah.
My gosh.
Wow.
Know what this tells me, guys? It just tells me they're nervous as hell over there in Philly. They don't know what they can't talk about the team. They can't talk about their offense. Nick Foles throwing the ball, with Garrett Blunt looking good or something. Revenge game. They gotta search for Aaron Hernandez, and now you're bringing up people's livelihood, losses, death, pain, something that has nothing to do with the Patriots anymore. You're gonna bring up Aaron Hernandez. My goodness, it's very disrespectful.
So it was Bob Brookover, by the way, who wrote the article, and there's just one portion I want to highlight, and there's other instances, and you can go read it if you want. And they compare it. They use Spygate, Deflategate, and the Hernandez murders in the same sentence, in a row like that. Like the 3 things are equal.
He needs to be fired.
Well, wait. Like, this to me was the most ridiculous part. The second paragraph. They talk about Hernandez playing in the Super Bowl in 2011. The final sentence of the second paragraph, it would be Hernandez, last Super Bowl, and this will be the Patriots' first Super Bowl since Hernandez committed suicide by hanging himself with a bedsheet inside a Massachusetts prison cell in April. Will somebody please tell me why that's relevant?
Yeah, I know this is the Patriots roundtable, but can we? What's his name? Bob
Brookover.
Can we give Bob Brookover the biggest sorry in the world? Like this is that's disgusting. That's disgusting he to go that far.
And I know it's sorry. Go ahead.
No, just saying he's stooping so low to bring up something like his job and his credentials, his history, his portfolio, his resume. It all needs to be questioned just based off of this nonsense that he would bring up with the Super Bowl right around the corner. Like, I'm stuck. I'm just so confused.
It really was kind of a weird thing to see. I knew it was coming because there was a report that yesterday somebody asked Rodney Harrison about if Aaron Hernandez's legacy tainted the Patriots, which was a weird thing to ask, and so it led people to kind of infer that this column was coming. But just a weird story to see. And look, I do not think I think Deflategate and Spygate have been overblown. I don't think that they're as big of a deal as people make them. If Patriots haters want to hang their hat on those, that's fine.
Go ahead.
You have a legitimate gripe. The Patriots cut Aaron Hernandez as soon as they knew, as soon as he was named, I think before he was named a suspect, and they pretty much distanced himself from it since. And he kind of Brookover criticizes them for refusing to talk about the situation, but I don't know what you expect them to say at that point. If they say anything, it makes them look bad.
What more do you want the Patriots to say and do? The guy did what he did. They cut ties with him. Like, it's 2018, brand new team, brand new season. What more do you want the Patriots to do in terms of talking about Aaron Hernandez? There's nothing left to be done if you're the New England Patriots. So to try to make connections with that situation and this current team, it's really such a reach that, like I said, his job needs to be in question to do something like that. I'm surprised. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if more people are calling for his head with the article like that.
I wouldn't be surprised if they're not calling for his head. The way that everyone hates the Patriots so much, it's sad that the Patriots are shown in this light, that they have to bring up a killer. And then what was the sub headline? Is it wins over lives or something like that?
Yeah.
That's pretty much saying like the Patriots were part of the murder and they're okay with it. And that is just very, very wrong to even think about something like that or even write an article on it in itself.
It really just kind of a strange thing to read Wednesday morning, but you got 2 weeks of coverage to fill. I guess Bob, not as creative as some other journalists, and he certainly went back to an old well, surprised he found any water in it. That's going to do it for this CLNS Patriots Roundtable. We will have more coverage, of course, tomorrow. I want to thank our sponsors, DraftKings. Go to DraftKings.com and use the promo code CLNS for free match play. Also want to thank Simple Contacts, where you'll be blown away by the quality and ease of use. Go to simplecontacts.com/Trags and use the promo code TRAGS for $30 off your first order of contact lenses. And RX Bar, the whole food protein bar. Their bars are made with 100% whole ingredients. Support our programming by going to rxbar.com/CLNS and use the promo code CLNS, where listeners will receive 25% off their first purchase. So that will do it for us today. Again, more content coming tomorrow on clnsmedia.com, at Patriots CLNS on Twitter. For Marv Ezhan and Mike Molyneaux, my name's Alex Barth. Thank you for joining us. We'll talk to you next time. Almost there, over the hump to Super Bowl week.
Almost
there.